Welcome back, everybody. Today, on episode 4 of Marketing for Small Business Owners, I'm going to talk about what most business owners get wrong with their social media. And when I say business owners, it doesn't matter if you're selling a digital product, if you're running a plumbing business. If you own a small business and you're trying to promote it on the internet using social media, this is what I'm going to talk about today. And we're going to call out some common misconceptions, and we're going to have a good time in doing so. As always, I promise to shoot you straight. I promise to tell you exactly how it is. And ultimately, I already know what your pain point is because I've been in the business a long time myself. I also am a small business owner. The point of the matter is the pain you are experiencing is posting constantly on social media with nothing to show for it. First thing off the rip I like to talk about is likes do not automatically equal engagement, and engagement does not automatically equal likes. We need to focus on, above all else, quality of content and calling out our particular audience. For example, if you follow me on Instagram, I've got over 4,000 followers on there. A lot of them were from my old life. I've been building this Instagram for probably 15 years. I was a professional BMX rider at one point, and I've got a lot of BMX friends on there. I've got a lot of friends from when I owned a bar in northern Wisconsin. I've got a lot of people from high school on there. There's a lot of people following my personal Instagram. So when I post marketing-related content, it's not for everybody. But what I'm trying to tell you right now is, okay, you might be thinking, Dan, why do you even use it then? Why not build a new one? But the personal reason that I use it for, and what we're going to talk about today, is leveraging what's available to you and how to do it in the best possible option. So why do I use my Instagram still when it's got such a mixed bag of followers on there? My engagement is trash, but the engagement I do get are from actual people that matter. But back to what I was originally about to say is, really what it comes down to is the people that follow me on my Instagram don't matter. I could care less about that. It's not the amount of people. What I care about is my personal account being what we call seasoned. It's actually been around for a while, so we can use it to cold DM people and bring them into my world. Oh, that sounds spammy. Sure, it is. But, it sounds like it's time consuming. It's not, because the guy that I work with has a software that scrapes Instagram profiles. Right now, a campaign that I'm running for my personal business is restaurant owners. We're trying to attract restaurant owners into our world so that we can do their Google services, their website, their marketing, right? And what I use my personal Instagram account for is to hook up to his software. It scrapes Instagram and it sends out a generic cold message from me. And by me, I mean my personal account. So I send out 50 or 75 messages every day. If I started a new account, Instagram would flag that in a second. It would not work. So I keep mine around and I post my content on there, not for the likes, not for the engagement, but so that when people go and look at, hey, who's this guy that messaged me? Let me go check his stuff out. I want to have some fresh content on there. And I'm slowly building, right? But 3,500 people of my 4,000 followers aren't even small business owners. If I had the time, I'd go eradicate them altogether. I would just delete them off of there. But what I'm doing is keeping my account, my seasoned Instagram account, for my cold outreach prospecting. All right? Keep that in mind. Not all social media is meant to do all of the same things. It is simply a tool that we use to get our ultimate goal, which is customers, clients, sales, whatever it may be. We're using this as a tool, and people use tools for different things. You can use a hammer to pound in a nail, but you can also use a hammer to tear down a wall. Different objectives, same tool. So the first thing we're going to talk about in section 1 of today's podcast is going to simply be the myth of posting more equals get more. It isn't about just posting consistently, right? It's not about just posting all of the time. Instagram doesn't owe you anything. Your followers list doesn't owe you anything. Just because you post all the time doesn't mean that they have to buy from you. Remember, we are nurturing an audience of people to be into what it is we do. So it's about the vibe that we put out. But more importantly, a lot of us, myself included, I've been guilty of this. A lot of us, we go in and we want to get a bunch of likes because likes boost our serotonin levels. They boost our confidence. It means we did something right. If we get 100 likes, maybe we'll get a sale. Likes do not equal sales, and sales do not equal likes. And that's why it's very important to focus specifically on the quality of your content. It's not about the quantity. It is always about the quality, right? If we have quality content, we're going to attract the certain people that we need into our world. And I'll get to that in a minute, but we're going to attract quality prospects that look at our stuff. So again, if we only get 3 or 4 likes, as long as those are from 3 or 4 people that are in our audience, that's a good thing, right? That's what it's all about. All right, so like trap aside, I really want to highlight intent versus vanity. It's similar to what I just talked about, but what we want to do is a like is not the same as a share. A share is not the same as a save, right? If people are saving our stuff, that means we had some good value. That means we actually did something that gave them a little bit of advice that they wanted to watch later. And that's a good sign. So 100 shares or 100 saves is a lot better than 1,000 likes. So we got to focus on the right metrics. Likes are not what it's all about. It's about the right engagement for what it is you're doing personally. So focus on that and watch what actually begins to develop. Another big thing, I'm going to rant for a second, is people just posting to post. Just random stuff, willy-nilly. I'm just posting stuff. It feels like I got something done. I checked it off my list. We're good to go. Fantastic, right? Back to what I just said. Not all content is created equal. Posting just to post is not going to get you anywhere except spinning the wheels. And that's ultimately what we need to stay focused on. So really, it comes down to, and I've been preaching this on my Threads account for quite some time, is narrowing down your particular audience and speaking to their specific pain points. You've probably heard this from a guru. You've probably heard this from a mentor of yours. I just had a client here in my studio a moment ago. He's a mobile car detailer. And I asked him, I said, who's your audience? And he's new to the business. He's like, oh, well, people with money, people that can afford the service. And I was like, so busy professionals? Yeah, busy professionals. I was like, okay, well, what is it they want? He's like, well, they want to clean their car. And I'm like, no busy professional wants a clean car. A busy professional wants to look good when he's driving around, right? A busy professional might have, an old classic car that he wants to have look good so he can protect his investment. That's the desire. Not a clean car. Nobody desires a clean car. They desire the result that they get from that clean car. Okay, so depending on your audience, I help college kids get more women by having a really nice ride, clean as a whistle. That's a different audience than, say, busy professionals. Or moms with small kids. Maybe their pain point is, I don't have time because I'm too busy running around town all the time, and I don't have the time to go in and make an appointment and bring my car in. The solution to that pain point is coming to them. So when you make that content for this particular example, you need to be speaking to busy professionals and their pain points and desires. Another piece, you need to be speaking towards the busy soccer moms and their pain points and desires. So craft a couple different audiences and then list out the different pain points and desires for each one. And then your content strategy can be based around that. Most important part about that, when you do that route, that avenue, if you take my advice, the most important thing you have to have is what we call in the industry an identifying pattern interrupt. And what that means, in the first 3 seconds, you need to call out your audience and in a way that interrupts their thinking, because keep in mind, they're scrolling. And you say something like, my mentor taught me once, he's like, if you said, oh my God, a meteor's coming, did you hear about it? That's a pattern interrupt. But it didn't say anything about me. That anybody would have their pattern interrupted by that. It's a meteor. That's going to get me. I'm not a busy mom. If you're about to talk about busy moms and their pain points, I'm the wrong person to be watching. Right? So you would say something along the lines of, busy moms tired of the long busy moms tired of waiting in the long lane at pickup at your kid's school, something like that. You want to identify your audience, and then you want to make sure that you stop their scroll. Identify the audience and stop the scroll. That's what I'm getting at. So I'm just using busy moms as an example. But message me about this, because this is something, if you can master identifying pattern interrupts, your reels will skyrocket, your ads will skyrocket, your landing page copy will do much better. You have to call out your audience in the first 3 seconds, or the first of what we call on a mobile phone above the fold. Before the person starts to scroll, make sure you mention something about who it is you're talking to, so they know they're in the right place, and specifically how you can actually solve their problem. And just one more point on that particularly, the content that you create should not only attract your target customer, but it should absolutely repel the wrong customer. A lot of business owners, beginners especially, tend to make the mistake that, oh, who's your audience? Everybody with money. I want to make as many sales as possible. And that's where the niching down comes down to. If you attract your target audience every time you speak directly to them, then somebody who's not in that audience is going to be, oh, that's not for me, I'm over it. You want to make sure you convert every time on the target customer, not trying for everybody. The old saying goes, if you try to talk to everybody, you'll end up talking to nobody. And then another thing that I like to talk about a lot is ultimately, when you're writing copy, when you're creating a reel, there's a simple framework that you follow. It's there's two versions. There's the hook, which is the identifying pattern interrupt that I talked about. That's what catches their attention. There's a story, and then there's an offer, right? There's hook, story, offer, and then there's hook, value, offer. And you can do the value through a story. You can kind of hybrid them at the same time. But the offer is not, hey, this is what I sell. The offer is, hey, take the next step in this journey, but be clear about it, right? A lot of people are vague. They're too subtle. They're too inconsistent with it. Be accurate. Be specific. For example, are you a plumber who's tired of terrible leads? Here's a story about how we solved that. Click here to join my free Facebook group on how plumbers are getting better leads every single day. That's a very clear offer that continues the value that you've already given them. And if you can do that, it doesn't confuse. My agency is called Congruent Creations, and what that means is the messaging is congruent at the top of the funnel all the way down to the bottom. We're not saying one thing at the top and then going down to the bottom and have a completely different offer than what they came in for. If you confuse your customer, your prospect, they're not going to buy from you. That's day one stuff. So be specific. Simply saying, call us today. DM us now to get a quote on your broken air conditioner, right? Be very specific, but make sure you have all three elements: the hook to identify them and agitate their pain, a story that they can relate to that talks about a broken AC, and then an offer to get their broken air conditioner fixed. This works across the board. All of these marketing fundamentals are core principles that work for every business, whether you're doing digital sales or whether you're doing service-based stuff. It's all the same. So ultimately, what did we cover today? The 3 keys to converting social media into leads. First thing, before I go into the 3, to recap, I want you guys to understand that the people who are crushing it on Instagram, on Threads, on the internet, they're doing it because they have a very specific content strategy outlined. And I can guarantee you they are following these 3. They have a clear audience, they give clear value, and they have a clear call to action, top, middle, and bottom. Cold, warm, hot, know, like, trust. Those are the 3 steps. Marketing is 3 steps. What I just said right there. Know your audience and speak to their pain points. Give them value in the middle of the funnel and give them a clear next step, whether that be to book a call, DM you, like your post. Those are all just subtle call to actions. And I say this example a lot, and it's one of my favorites. If I walk up to a woman at a bar, and I'm looking for a girlfriend. That's my end goal, right? I'm lonely. I want a girlfriend. If I walk up to a woman at the bar, at a brewery, at the freaking farmer's market, wherever it may be, and I say, hey, would you like to be my girlfriend? The first thing she's going to say is, dude, I don't know you. Who are you? That's weird. No, right? If I do that 100 times, maybe I get one yes. Maybe, right? That's a 1% conversion. It's trash, right? However, If I do what we call in the marketing world a micro conversion, we're not going for the kill right off the rip. I walk up to that woman at the bar, for example, and I say, instead of, will you be my girlfriend? I say, hey, my name's Dan. Can I buy you a drink? Much less threatening. Okay. 50 times out of 100, maybe she says yes. Now we got a 50% conversion on conversion number one. That's a lot better than one. Now, well, we talk. I buy her a drink. We sit there and we chit chat. We get to know each other. I get her name. I learn what she does, where she's from. We're sharing our drink. I make her laugh a couple of times. Now I have a decision to make. Our drink's about done. And my decision is, do I ask her to be my girlfriend now? Or do I ask for her phone number? Another micro conversion. And that is the big difference. You're listening to this story and you're thinking, well, yeah, you of course wouldn't ask her to be your girlfriend just yet. You'd go for the phone number. It's the obvious choice, right? Then why are a lot of you just going straight for the sale when you sell stuff? Okay. Of course, if I ask for her phone number, she's much more likely to give it to me than if I asked her to be my girlfriend. Now I get her phone number, second micro conversion, check. She's moving through my sales funnel, right? I text her, I call her, we chit chat, we go back and forth. Next weekend comes around, I said, hey, would you like to go to a movie with me this weekend? She says yes. And then maybe after the movie, we go get ice cream and I ask her to be my girlfriend. Boom, converted. It was a 7-day sales cycle. That's sales. That's what we're all doing. If you're listening to this right now, that is what we're doing. That's what the whole name of the game is about. So don't go pitch slapping people upside the head and saying, hey, I got this really great product. You should buy it. Set up a sales flow, a sales process, a sales funnel that ultimately leads people through steps and micro conversions that convert into a sale, into money. That is the game we are all playing. That is why you're listening today. That is it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I think this is a little bit shorter than usual, but if you like what you heard, guys, share, comment, like, all that stuff. I'm just doing this as kind of a side project. As you know me, I run an agency. I've got clients that I work with. I record these on my free time. I post them, and I just want people to do better with their own marketing, because I was in your shoes at one point. I was where you are. I struggled. I kicked and I screamed and I was broke for a long time before I found my footing in this business and understood it. And it took a long time. It was 5-6 years before I got any traction, and I want to make it quicker for you. I want it to be maybe 6 to 12 months, and that's what these episodes are all about. Episode 5, I'm going to do what I'd do if I had to get my first 10 clients all over again, okay? And again, I run an agency. You run a small business, or maybe you are a coach or a digital product creator, whatever it may be. Your first 10 client or my first 10 clients, this could apply to your first 10 sales. What I would do different to get my first 10 clients all over again, instead of taking a couple of years, it would take a couple months. That's what we're going to talk about on the next one. That said, guys, again, share this stuff. Get it out there. Put it out there. I would really appreciate it. Let me know. Send me an email. Reach out to me on Threads or Instagram, and we'll go from there. Thanks so much. We'll talk soon.